Hey, what's up, mafias? Welcome back to the Code Cartel. And in this podcast, we are talking to Roshan Rai. He is a technical staff at eBay, and we will be delving deep into the mind of a technical staff. We will be talking about array of things, plethora of things. We will be talking about emotional intelligence. We'll be talking about Android stuff. We'll be talking about finances. There are a lot more things that we will be talking about. And hopefully, this is something that you guys enjoy. And of course, if you want to ask certain questions, comments are open below. And of course, thank you for watching. And for now, let's get started.
What I feel right now in Android space, especially in general space in India, especially, there is a lot of talk about tech, but there's not a lot of talk about like how about other stuff like communication, like how to be a part of a team, or how to be a good engineer, or how to be contribute, or how to be like part of how to build connections. Because see, building coding in a silo is one thing, but when I started going to different conferences, it's a different world. And like I think I have got a lot of inspiration from them. Like, okay, yeah, we can do this. Because when you do it, development silo, you think, okay, this, you read stuff online by accident because it's a coincidence, right? There is some stuff which comes on a screen, you read it. There may be a lot of great stuff we might have missed. So your knowledge is always like in that bubble, and you think, yeah, you know a lot of things. But you start to meet people outside in conferences and everything, then you came to know, okay, people are doing a lot of things like in terms of tech and everything. And I think there is a very big gap between communication, how to communicate, how to tackle ego, how to not build a ego, how to because this is what I have noticed in a lot of companies. Going like, if there's someone who's very senior, either they have a lot of ego, or if they don't have, but a junior person will assume that, and it becomes very difficult to approach them. And how we can fix that? So one thing which I do is and the first day I say you can talk about me anything which you like, and you can give me feedback about anything. Hey Roshan, this is really bad. I think I don't like this word, because that's how I want your communication should be. Because the more you are open with me, and just give you a promise, just give them a promise that you're not going to get a backlash for this. If you give me a feedback, because I think there is no teaching like how to give feedback and how to take a feedback. There's nobody has taught us about that. Like how to give a feedback, proper feedback, how to give a proper code review, how to I've seen a lot of code reviews. Either they are very rude, or either they're very personal oriented. That's, if you think about it, it's just a code. Okay, someone has wrote it. It's not something like personal to you. Like he's not taking something personal to you. Or neither, if someone is giving you a code comment, he's not making a personal attack on you. So these two things are, I think we have to get mature on it. How to give a proper code review, how to give a proper, those kind of things. So apart from tech, plus when I was in college, there was no proper guidance, like how to be a good engineer. If you are smart enough, and if you're what is the word we use?
Jugaadu.
No, like a person who take steps,
Opportunistic.
Not opportunistic, take steps, like he's self-learning. He's like, what do we call it? Like in corporate is like a person who's try to learn stuff, try to read stuff, try to build stuff by his own, without being like.
No one has to tell him what he does. He always just picks up and starts doing. Yeah.
It's like he's not waiting for that. Okay, no teacher has told me, it's not part of curriculum, or no senior is telling me to do this. He just takes ownership, initiative. Like a person who's interested to, it's very good that a senior or teacher or college helps you. It's good, it's a bonus. But to be honest, that's not they're there for. Okay, it is your job to get most of it, or across your environment. It is your job. Like teach as much, learn as much use as from you. And if nobody's teaching, then figure it out that okay, how to learn stuff, what is current industry standards. Because when I was in college, when I went to placement, I saw there's a huge gap. What industry is demanding and what like colleges are offering and curriculums are offering and how they are prepared. And it's no fault of that person, the student. She's like she's not aware that what is about to hit them. They're they're so out of touch. And no, so the first shocker was me that data set and algorithm is super important. Okay. You might know very good at Java, you might know Spring Boot, you might know, but if you don't know data set and algorithm during college time, it's very difficult to get into good companies. Very difficult. And it was a hard lesson because I have to still read and study that boring stuff to get into different college. And we had a lot of premium free time at the college time. We could have like 4 years invested and did that some part. But nobody has told me. Everybody was telling that either you learn C, Java, those things are like next level. But first learn the basics. Data algorithm. Nobody, because if you go any companies, any product company, that's a standard. Unfortunately, they don't use it. I never seen like apart from HashMap or those being used anywhere. But you have to
got it. Yeah. It's the curse of being an engineer because it's like how do you call that, a needed poison that you need to take. So,
it's very boring. It's very draining as well. Like I've been prepared data set for a very longer period. It's very draining. It's because see, in a life when you do stuff, you see a purpose. Okay, if I do this, this will happen. But if you do this and you don't see immediate result, it gets very frustrating. Okay, I solve a linked list problem. Now what?
Got it. That's I'll of course divert to a little bit more about emotional intelligence and preparing for DSA and algo. So that's of course. One thing I actually start off my podcast every time by asking this one question to everyone: how do you define a stable life for yourselves?
So, in my opinion, this could be a very subjective thing. It is person to person. It's totally depend in what situation a person is going through, what is his personal conditions are. But what my opinion is that good relationships with your spouse, with your family, with your work, and most important, with yourself. If you have a good and healthy relationship with your whole environment around you, I think I will consider you have a very good stable life. You can't always be happy. It's a phase. Like, there's no person you are going to meet who's going to 100% always happy. It's like you will be always 60, 70. There's no percentage. Like sometimes you're happy, but if you have a very good relationship with yourself and healthy relationship with yourself, with your family, with your spouse, with your friends, and with your work, I consider this as a stable life. Where, there was a great research. Do you want me to expand on this?
Yeah, sure.
There was a great research done on Harvard. What they did is that I forgot the research. We can find it out. The name of research. So they took 50 people randomly, and they observed them. They were given all equal environment, all the equal facilities, everything, and they were grown from beginning. And later, when they became successful, someone became successful, someone became this and that. Later, when they interview, what they found is that who is the most happy person was a person who has a very good relationship with and healthy relationship with their family members, their spouses, and people around him, who are more happy as compared to people who are very successful, who made a lot of money. Either they are founders or either they are a good book writers or anything. But this is one common factor. This is one result which we are talking. I could be wrong, but this is what I have also noticed, that if you have a very good relationship, I think it fuels you with energy, and
Mhm.
it and like I'm a very curious person. I think that's what drives me. And
Mhm.
but if you're a very stable platform, everything this will like goes you mile sends you miles away if you're a very good relationship. So I think that's a very important factor, and people ignore it a lot
Mhm.
because of that. So I think try to spend much time with your family or your kids, because
Mhm.
it's very meaningful, and you don't know that time when that time goes away.
Agreed, agreed, agreed. I think, like I've read this somewhere as well. Most of the life, people think that they will get success, and the thing is, failure is so common nowadays that it always is a friend that knocks on your door and it says hi to you. So
Yeah,
you spend your life optimizing for failure.
yeah,
And how do you optimize for failure? By building a very good relationship, relationships around you,
yeah.
because if you go outside world has a real war. And I don't know how to describe this, but I think so stoicism describes it, that like the outside world is like real war. You go around and you go into this war, you come back home, and that's the safe space. And in the safe space you have some relations with you that will always cater you with love, so that you can again wake up another day and fight. So that's the idea behind. I think that's what you're
I think
describing as
an
stable.
outside world is more conditional. So,
Mhm,
like, if you do this, people will like you. If you don't do this, people will not like you. If you do
mhm,
this, you get promotion. If you do, you don't. But
mhm,
in family, it's not like that. Like
mhm,
mostly, it's very especially with your kids, it's very unconditional love. So
mhm,
you don't have to do anything. They just want you to be with them. That's it.
mhm, mhm,
And I think people like people are not don't realize it, but you will realize it when you go to places or houses or orphanage houses where
mhm,
those kids miss those, and then you realize, okay, how privileged we are in terms
mhm,
of this. That okay, we have a family, we have a food at our table, and
mhm,
uh, we have a roof on our head.
mhm,
Yeah, I realized this when we when we had this pandemic, and going out was restricted. Then I
mhm,
realized that okay, how like ignorant we were, that okay, we can just think about it and go out
mhm,
our door. This
mhm,
is also became a privilege during COVID,
mhm,
and we were so ignorant about okay, like did we ever thought okay, this could be possible that you cannot go out from your home? No,
mhm,
this
mhm,
was so I realized okay, this was also a privilege, that we can just roam around anytime, just get out if you feel
mhm,
like it and go out anywhere.
mhm.
It was a privilege. So yeah.
I agree, I agree. There's one more like point I want to like bring up. Like, I don't remember. There's a joke usually that goes around. Like a person asks, like, "What do you want to be in life? Do you want if you were to be like an, let's say if you were to be born as an elephant or an ant, what would you choose?" The person says that, "Why would I choose to be an elephant or an ant? I just want to be me." So the idea behind this is how people don't realize how psychologically healthy it is to be just you.
Yes.
So yeah, I think being in uh, love with yourselves and having a good relationship around you, of course, defines a very good stable life around you. That's
Yeah.
a very good definition around stability.
I was reading one book. I think he's very little controversial.
Hmm.
P- uh, uh, I forgot his name. Peterson.
No, Jordan Peterson, yeah,
Jordan Peterson. So
12 Rules of Life, yeah.
yeah, 12 Rules of Life. I was reading that book. So he's a little controversial. He has
Hmm.
some good and some flaws. So we are not going to delve into that. Anyway, so he said there was a research done that people who have pets, and
Hmm.
there was medication provided to those pets, and there was medication provided for those people who has pet. Okay.
Hmm.
And the research came that people always has like the amount of regularity giving meds to their pets were more as compared to they taking them themselves.
Hmm.
It is so the whole crux is that we are not very kind to ourselves. We don't take
Hmm.
care of ourselves as we think about others.
Hmm.
So, but it is very important. You are equally important, and you should be very. Sometimes, like we are very become very critical to ourselves as well.
Hmm.
That okay,
Hmm.
I'm not doing this. Hey, It's life. Okay, hey, it's life. It is going to, you are going to be, you are going to be fail one day. It is perfectly okay that you didn't finish your task that day. It is perfectly okay that, okay, one day you slept late. It's perfectly okay that, okay, you missed gym, or probably okay that, okay, you lost some money, or maybe someone has you got disappointed with something else. It's perfectly okay. That's how life is. That you be kind to it. Not everything is in your control. Even when you give into it, I used to think that I did, like I failed it because I did not prepare. No, there's a lot of factors put into that. Okay, so it's, you have to be healthy critic of yourself. That, okay, we can improve this, but don't be that critical to yourself that, okay, it start to take a mental toll on you. And because this is something which it is very precious. You can, like, you can have money, you can have house, but you cannot build this if
Agreed.
something. So always think in that perspective, and this is how everything, this because of this everything is working.
Agreed. Uh, like usually, like I know that you're working in and around by reading a lot of books. Like 50 books is a lot. Like, um, how do you describe, like, as you said, emotional intelligence in a way that, how do you describe, like, what according to you is the definition of emotional intelligence?
I think try to understand other people perspective,
Mm-hmm.
how they feel, and uh, not to be judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have built, like, we have a lot of biases in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you read about, there's a lot of biases. So there is a bias called confirmation bias. Have you heard
Mm-hmm.
about it?
Yeah.
So confirmation bias, or there is a bias of hollow bias. Like, uh, you take a task of one person, and if he did good, and you make a personality around him, that, okay, he's a great
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, try to know your biases, like
Mm-hmm.
how biased you are, emotionally biased, and then it's you can't remove it, because that's how we humans are made. But if you know about those biases, then you, when you see a person, you think in that perspective. Am I judging that person in that perspective because he belongs to a particular part, he or she belongs to a particular party, or he or she believes in certain ideas?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this happens, like
Mm-hmm.
this. And especially in India, it's happening. I see a lot of things that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because someone believes that thought, someone belongs to the particular, has this particular political ideology, and
Mm-hmm.
we assume that this person will be like that. No, there could be certain great things about that person,
Mm-hmm.
which which we will miss if
Mm-hmm.
we are biased in that way. So I think emotion is something. Try to understand that perspective of that person, how that person maybe a person who's not doing really great at tech right now. There's a lot of background things are going on in his life which you
Mm-hmm.
don't. So
Mm-hmm.
if you say, oh, this guy um, uh, could not understand a proper MVVM pattern,
Mm-hmm.
he's really bad. No, dude,
Mm-hmm.
that's one part of his life. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think I know. I have been in past. I have been. I still I think that I don't know a lot of great stuff in tech, and
Mm-hmm.
it is possible that you are given a task, and I am given a task, and I might take 2 or 3 hours to finish, and you might be able to finish 15 hours. But does
Mm-hmm.
that make me not overall a good person or good engineer? No,
Mm-hmm.
maybe in a certain tech, not maybe in certain task, I could improve, but that doesn't mean that. And reverse is same true. I might know, might read a lot of books, so
Mm-hmm.
I might know certain things, but does that make me a better person than you? No,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. But
Mm-hmm.
people assume this, like, because I have read a lot of books, I
Mm-hmm.
have finished this course, I am from this college, or
Mm-hmm.
I am from this
Mm-hmm. Brand.
this
Brand.
company.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that, like, I am elite, or
Mm-hmm.
other people also, because he belongs to this company,
Mm-hmm.
he belongs to this company. I've seen this was like, he belongs to a service based company, he belongs to a product. Dude, both are engineers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he gotten a chance to work in a service because his circumstances were like that. Okay,
Mhm.
at that time, you
Mhm.
got a chance in this company because your circumstances are like that. You put a lot of effort. You are in you are in a right environment, or maybe your mindset is like that. Or maybe there is some different advantage you have. Maybe some people are really smart. I don't think I consider myself a very smart person. It
Mhm.
takes me a lot of time to figure out things. But
Mhm.
what is good about me is that I'm very curious. I
Mhm.
I'm very curious, and I'm very resilient. So I will
Mhm.
keep trying. If I fail one day, again next day try. But
Mhm.
I think if I know a lot of people who have worked with me, great engineers, who will figure out stuff in a day. I think I know a lot of people who was able to build a Google map in 2 days, a
Wow.
full-fledged Google map in 2 days.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think I will be able to do that.
Mhm.
But there are cases they came to me that, hey, I Roshan, I need help in this.
Mhm.
So always think in, don't think judge people based on how they you appear, and give them a little chance and have this empathy that okay,
Mhm.
there. So uh, it's true that some people have skill issue. It's true that
Mhm.
certain people are really bad. You can't do
Mhm.
anything. But assuming that everyone be like that, I
Mhm.
don't think that's a very mature and
Mhm.
healthy thought.
Mhm. Mhm.
Always try to understand that person perspective, because
Mhm.
you could be you could be a really great engineer, but
Mhm.
there are times will come that you need some certain help in something. And
Mhm.
as I said in the beginning, if you very good relationship, and that's a basic of everything. If you
Mhm.
understand other person perspective and have this empathy and have this
Mhm.
pain, then able to understand, and then you're able to build a good connections.
Mhm.
There
Good.
might be a junior. I think I see a lot of juniors pinging me about sir this and that. Uh,
Mhm.
I could be getting angry. Hey, like you didn't study. How what I could. Sometimes I do. Like I didn't study, but
Mhm.
if I see myself 10 years back, I put this. I also was not a. I don't consider myself. I was like super smart. I
Mhm.
was lucky, and I was lucky enough that I was in a certain place and certain time that
Mhm.
I got that some opportunities. But
Mhm.
maybe I was not there. Maybe I didn't met those people. I could
Mhm.
not have gotten those opportunities. So based on that, if I consider I did a lot of good things. I am a great engineer. I don't. That's a healthy thought.
Mhm. Got
There's
it.
a lot of luck factor. Yes, you should put a lot of effort, but there's a lot of luck factor.
Mhm.
And always have this in mind when try to know people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed. There's a lot of there's a lot of tangents I can spread these ideas to, because
Yeah.
there are a lot of things I can talk about. I can talk about luck and how it plays, because express the same thought as Naval Ravikant, that
Mm.
you have to generate your own luck. Luck doesn't
Yeah.
come around. The idea behind this whole thing is that I'm thinking emotional intelligence that I got is that the bias that we have against people, we have to just make sure that we separate ideas from people,
Yeah.
because people are humans, they are not machines. The ideas are different ideologies. You have to just separate the two and see them for what they are.
Yeah.
And when you try to see ideas and ideologies for what they are, and people as people, you try to see the real nature of everything.
Yes.
That's how I can describe the whole point of emotional
Be
intelligence.
and be a good listener.
Agree.
Or when I say be a good listener, people say that okay, like people understand that okay, just to hear. Be
Mhm,
a good listener that make that person feel that yes, I was heard. Like
mhm,
this
mhm,
person give, because that's a very important part. The
mhm,
other person, it's not because you said I'm here, I'm hearing you. No,
mhm,
the
mhm,
person felt that yes, I was being heard.
mhm,
And I think these are really great qualities, and these are really rare qualities to achieve. To be honest,
mhm,
I think I'm 5 to 1 or 2% probably
mhm, mhm,
at that level. I'm not. I don't consider myself, but I'm trying. I'm
mhm,
trying. I'm trying that to be a good listener, be a more mature human being,
mhm,
not
mhm,
be into tech, but everything.
mhm. Agreed.
Yeah.
There's a lot more points to it. Like, if we think like being a good listener itself is not just about listening to someone, but
Yeah.
to remember small things about
Yeah.
the other person. To remember very little details is when you become a good listener. It's not that you listen and you forget. The
Yeah.
idea is to make sure that you connect different things about this person, and that's how you serve them, and that's the idea of being a good listener, I think so.
Make that person feel that yes, this person, when I spoke to him, he or she understood me.
Hmm.
Yeah, like yeah, I so that person will be very comfortable to come to you though, because that person knows that okay, when I talk to this person, that person has this perspective, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I think if you were able to achieve with one or two people, I think you did great. To be honest.
Hmm. Agreed. There's so much stuff to learn about this, and we will go into tangents about like integrating a shadow, Carl Jung's stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, actually, I want to go into your story. How did you go into app industry in general? Why did you choose app development, not any other industry, backend or something like that? Yeah.
So there's, as I said, there's a lot of luck around. So when I was in college, my uh, um, my mama, like what do we call it in English? I don't know.
Uncle,
He,
yeah, yeah.
the uncle, my uncle, he was from IIT. He's from IIT, and he was in civil engineer, and he started he started learning computer science. So I used to go with him when I was kid, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
he used to have this bundle of books. I think
Mm-hmm.
he bought first computer from IBM when the computer used to have 50 MB of space,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
50 MB. And
Mm-hmm.
he wrote code in COBOL and Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very passionate about it. His name is Pradeep,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very passionate about all
Mm-hmm.
those. So when I used to be, I was physics enthusiast, and when I see him, when I saw him, I got very passionate about building stuff in computer science.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working on a Java. So when I was in college, I thought I will pick Java.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of people are forcing me like, okay, .NET is because getting a job and at that time .NET was much easier
Mm-hmm.
job because Java uh, has a lot of big community and
Mm-hmm.
experience. So I did learn about Spring and something struts and started looking for job, but
Mm-hmm.
there was not a lot of opportunities
Mm-hmm.
in Java which I came. But
Mm-hmm.
suddenly there is one opportunity, and this is what I tell everybody: that if you get any opportunity, don't just talk. Okay, I am going to do only this,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you are a fresher. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
get your feet in the door because in later point of your life you can still move around and change everything
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the initial, I don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunities that if you,
Mm-hmm.
hey, if you're restricted, I'm going to do only this.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my friend said that we are looking for Android engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I did small stuff on like making a hello world app, and I made one small some HMS scheduler app, which I
Mm-hmm.
learned well and did some copy paste from other GitHub accounts, everything,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, hey, and we wanted a fresh Android engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so I took that opportunity. I said, I'm ready and said, okay, 1 week time, 1 week after that, we will have interview. I
Mm-hmm.
prepared for all the interviews, everything. And
Mm-hmm.
luckily, the interview went well and I
Mm-hmm.
got in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first Android. And then we started building stuff on Android. Then I came to realize that, hey, this is really great as compared to building a backend. The reason
Mm-hmm.
is that when you build a backend stuff, it's
Mm-hmm.
really, but you don't see anything.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
See anything. Like you build a whole API, you build a Postgres, everything. It's all connected, but you don't see anything. But
Mm-hmm.
when you make an app, you release it to Play Store, you're able
Mm-hmm.
to touch people live.
Mm-hmm.
People use it and tell you feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I like this. I love this app. Or I, I know a lot of users who have reached out to me in different channels that,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I love this app. I see this. Could you please fix it? Or probably, hey, I think we can improve. When you
Mm-hmm.
see all this interaction, like you feel very grateful and like very
Mm-hmm.
energized. Okay, yeah, this is.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started liking app development, and I After that, I think when I started uh, working for Android, it was Gingerbread 2.3. That was the
Mm-hmm.
big. And
Mm-hmm.
Android has a very limited like memory devices to build these like Android apps.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience was not that great. But I think slowly after I think I started seeing all these changes after Lollipop.
Mm-hmm.
And Android Lollipop was a game changer in terms of UI. After
Mm-hmm.
that, I think Android was started competing with iOS in terms of
Mm-hmm.
Pie and janky feel. And
Mm-hmm.
I both are a kind of in the same. I feel, in my opinion, I might be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Like I keep saying that it's everything is my opinion. I could be wrong in every way. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong everything about everything. But I see now they're at par level in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
stability and UI improvement.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So that was it. That was it. After that, I spun around. I started doing. I did some backend stuff as well,
Mm-hmm.
and some uh, some backend stuff, some iOS stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still keep doing it. I'm right now. I'm experimenting with some part of AI as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, AI comes into picture because I see a lot of AI popping up everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's a lot more to learn here. That as I when I try to ask like app developers why did they start app development, most of them answer that they wanted to build something. Because they are not I think app development industry is like this, that everyone who enters into like app development wants to see something built. The idea
Yeah.
of building something really excites them. That's why they joined this industry. So that's something very exciting and positive about it. And yeah, when it comes to like your role as an engineer, and as you talked about AI more, like can you explain more how are you using AI in your day-to-day life in your engineering, and what are you learning about AI?
So the one thing I see that it's a great tool
Mm-hmm.
in terms of coding, if you want. Okay, it's a great tool. But I feel there's a lot of fear mongering as well is happening
Mm-hmm.
with AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to replace your job.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to improve your work by miles.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you an example, I'm not a backend engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And I did one app and I did one app,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which I did it in KMP,
Mm-hmm.
Kotlin with
Mm-hmm.
full compose. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a great back engineer. So I needed to build a auth. I needed to
Mm-hmm.
build a session service. I needed to build a registration service. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like tinkering around stuff, Spring Boot, everything.
Mm-hmm.
With help of AI, I was able to build all these services for these APIs
Mm-hmm.
with Postgres,
Mm-hmm.
deploy it on a Dockerize, and
Mm-hmm.
use it on from
Mm-hmm.
a cloud from AWS in 2 days. In 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I think I experienced. I'm not. I might be wrong again. I think experience Android backend engineer will also take them minimum to 15, 20 days to build 4 services, connect with the Postgres, deploy it, and Dockerize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a backend engineer. I know. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the good thing was with me was that I know Spring, so I was able to understand what's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
I was able to correct small parts,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is it was not perfect. It is not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but with that, it gave me realization that
Mm-hmm.
AI is going to solve the problem at a scale
Mm-hmm.
which we haven't imagined.
Mm-hmm.
It is it is uh, it might be a wrong analogy.
Mm-hmm.
You can go 50, 70 years back when NASA was building space stations. So
Mm-hmm.
I used to hear that they used to write code.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they used to write code in rooms, like three,
Mm-hmm.
4 rooms, which I hear. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now that whole code they have written in nowadays, it could be written in a small 1 MB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you correct me if I'm wrong, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think the AI. So now we can think about building big stuff with AI. I think, like the product which you think okay will take time to build 1 month or 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can build it a small prototype in 10 to 15 days. And you can
Mm-hmm.
convince any business or product owner that, hey, we can do this. I was doing, I had one legacy app which I was procrastinating for 2 3 years. It is using XML. It is using all the older libraries, which I was procrastinating to migrate it to, and because Gradle, Gradle stuff, it's very boring and it's very time consuming. And with the help of AI, I was able to migrate all those library in 2 to 3 days, and now that app is up. All the libraries are updated. They're using all the new libraries, and it's up, and it's ready that any new developer can come in and start contributing. It was in that case that it was using so many old libraries that if any new engineers will come, they will now understand, okay, this library, because I think there is a lot of libraries which JCenter is being, they're being posted on JCenter, and JCenter is being closed. But with the help of AI, I was able to get rid of my procrastination, and I was able, because if I was doing it by myself, with my own bare hands, it would have taken me a lot of time. So I think AI is something. I did some work on building a small modifying wrappers on LLM chain, like using OpenAI. But I noticed that the logical stuff is still, it is very much needed. And because imagine a company wants to use ChatGPT, okay? They're not going to use that raw ChatGPT, right? They need to customize according to their business need. They need to modify it according to their business, according to their privacy policy, legals, everything. There are engineers going to have who was going to fine tune this, right? They're called system prompts. That how AI should respond. So you can write a code in Python that to redirect AI that, oh, this is how you should respond to this, and these are the queries you should not even respond to it. Like, okay, suppose at eBay or any company, my past company, which was secret, they wanted to get revenue, which is not released, or maybe talk about some stuff which is not public information. So if you type those, you can modify those system prompts using Python code that, okay, don't respond to this. It will just. So similarly, this is one use case, but I think there's a lot of different use cases going to come for AI, which is needed for a lot of engineers. So I don't think, what I noticed that you need to be really good now. Those days of, I think, knowing a very surface stuff and getting things done will be difficult, because now AI can do those surface stuff very easily. So now you have to be really good at creative about it, how to build. But I think you are pretty much needed. I don't know, I don't know the future. Maybe probably like how much impact is going to be engineer. Either it is going to be less, but they are still needed, and coding is still pretty much needed and relevant. It is going, because those LLM chains are not going to program. Maybe, I don't know, maybe after 50 years down the line, maybe AI becomes that stuff that, okay, we are not needed, but I don't see right now. I don't see that after using AI for workplace, or either building some stuff, small stuff with AI. So I think there's still a but you have to really good. And I think this is a very general advice, that not only for the surface stuff, right, for the kind of stuff what goes underline. And it's the same thing for Android. If you use MVVM, you think about it. Why you need MVVM? Why? Why can't we just lump everything together? Why you need MVVM? Why need coroutine? Why you want coroutine? So or probably there's a lot of confusion around clean architecture, and people just, I think the engineers just without putting too much thought, they just implement clean architecture. If you have a single or 1 to page, do you really think you need a clean architecture? Do you really think you need these much layering? Do you really think that if your app is really smart, do you need a multi-model architecture? I don't think so. Yeah, but if you have, like in our company, Victoria's Secret has a very large code base. So we needed, and it's a very feature based. So we can we have broken all those codes in a simple model architecture, which can be used by small teams like feature team or team, other teams, and without affecting each other. But in a small 1-2 page app, I don't think you need to build it. It's overcomplicated. I think there is a lot of nuance to it, which how we like how we code stuff and how do we do. So I think similar thing with AI as well. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of nuances which is still not, and there's a lot of hype train. But what I recommend all the engineers which right now getting into job, getting especially freshers, try to get this opportunity of AI, because there are going to be a lot of startups coming up who need engineer on AI. They are not great, but they need it, and take this opportunity and grab that opportunity. Maybe in future you can become a great, but I think this is a very good opportunity to like learn about AI and get into, if you want to quickly get into a job. Yeah, because it's a similar thing happening uh, 10 to 15 years back when app was in phase, that all companies wanted app. Let's build an app for this. Let's build it. So it was so much demand that I think I was, as I told, I was a backend engineer. I know Java, how Java works, but I did not have much idea about how to build this Android app. But it was so much demand that I built a small app. I think now if I build that app, you laugh about it. Okay, what kind of app is this? I like, if I sleep also, I can build this app. Like, what is so special about it? But it was so demand at that time. Okay, similar thing. If you can build a small side project with your AI and showcase that we can solve this problem, I think you are a great asset right now. And I think this is my advice to all the freshers who are getting into job, that use opportunity. This is a .com bubble 2.0. It's a .com bubble. It is going, in my opinion, it is going to get down after, I don't know when, but it is going to burst. But till that time, it's your opportunity to get in, learn as much as possible, because if you learn and you become great, even the bubble burst, you're still well. It didn't happen that .com bubble went and all the web engineers, all the people who built e-commerce sites were laid off and didn't get job. They all got job after that. Yeah, the companies went down. Amazon is still relevant. E-commerce is still relevant. Amazon survived that .com bubble. eBay survived that .com bubble.
Got it. There's so much stuff to talk about here, related to AI and things, because I'm actually learning backend myself. I'm learning Django Python right now. So I am not a very good backend developer, but I was actually able to build and deploy my own backend using AI.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the idea behind this thing is, nowadays what I'm thinking is, the idea is not to just learn to code, but to be curious of why things are built the way it is.
Yes.
Because like there were certain things around, like why Django doesn't serve static files, why when you deploy them, Django does not do that in production, it does in development. And it was related to serverless architecture and a normal architecture. So I didn't know that because I'm not a backend developer. I had to go and learn about system design a little bit more to understand this stuff. So
Yeah.
the idea is that, I think it's the combination here, that you have the power to build anything in your hands. The idea is that how will you, do you have the curiosity to actually go and explore and collect all of the things needed to actually build stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the, I think so, use case of AI now, right now.
I think this is what I like, in my opinion, what I feel is that I think if a person is super curious, right, even he or she is not very, like, maybe not picking stuff, smart is the wrong word, because intelligence, smart is like a lot of things. Okay. Maybe you can, maybe you are good at math, doesn't mean you are super smart. Maybe you are smart in that particular stuff, but intelligence, I believe, is that combination of a lot of things. Okay. If, like, maybe you are good at physics, or maybe good at code, but there's a lot of things. So, but the point I was coming to is that, but if you're a super curious person, this is going to like take you much. So this is my advice to everybody, that if you're super curious and you sometimes feel that, okay, I'm very like, why I'm reading this, I don't know. That will come. I think I have did a lot of courses. I've read a lot of books. I have learn a lot of stuff, which I thought I'm wasting my time. But now I feel that those became all relevant and made me very overall rounded person.
Mm-hmm.
Like this made me a person who is a very great at conversation with everybody, which I feel like I talked about anybody, either he's not from tech industry or not, because and they can I can engage. I feel I can engage them because I did those all stuff which was not very relevant at that time. But now I was just curious that why uh, why our history is like that, why physics is like that, why economy works like this. Sometimes I read about diplomat books as well, at at that time, how that diplomat. So I was reading one book of Shiv Shankar Menon during 2008 Mumbai attack, how the moment was, that how we came to that place, how our relationship with China was that. So I don't know. So I think this is what I say: be curious and try to learn as much possible from your peers, from everybody around you, and what you're doing, because that's going to take you like miles.
Agreed, agreed, agreed. Like I want to expand more on the technical stuff right now, and I want to ask you about your role. Like, what does because it's very hard to comprehend what does a technical staff actually do, because if somebody is like in like a small guy started 1 year experience, 2 years experience coming out of college, they have no idea about how different industry roles work. So
Yeah.
can you explain like what does an actual technical staff do, and like how do you even get to that level?
So, so see, titles are something which is not. I will not recommend anybody to be get very
Mm-hmm.
attached to it. Okay, these are designed by companies, and it changes from company to company.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but in a general, staff engineer is something who does not belong to one team. He belongs to one or two, three projects, and
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like takes cares of a broader aspect of tech. That
Mm-hmm.
okay, which technology are we using, and staff engineer role is mostly thinking about those problems which has not yet arisen,
Mm-hmm.
but we arised, and
Mm-hmm.
how do we solve this? Like, okay, if we are going to reach this scale of 1 million user,
Mm-hmm.
so will this take hold? And if does not hold, what we can do about it? So
Mm-hmm.
I think mostly, and plus providing overall feedback to the whole team about the architecture stuff and everything. And plus,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person who not only do this, I like to code as well. So I will get
Mm-hmm.
into building a feature as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that depends on you. But you can choose not to. But
Mm-hmm.
you can work with your principal engineer. I think it's little confusing with principal engineer and stuff, because those both are like doing the same kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But
Mm-hmm.
principal engineer, I think, has more teams, and staff has only belongs to one or two teams probably,
Mm-hmm.
and they see overall. But I don't see that like you don't need to code more. If you want to, you can code. You can still build features. But
Mm-hmm.
app engineer is something who sees, for example, there's an app. So do we need to use KMP? If yes, how we are going to design the data layer? How we are going to design the domain layer? Which tech stack are we going to use? What is the long-term effect of those libraries? If you are going to
Mm-hmm.
use Decompose, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Decompose makes sense. Do we need, does our app need Decompose, or do we need to build our own navigation library, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
We can build it, then he can probably guide it. That okay, build a navigation library, and
Mm-hmm.
then smaller stuff can be given to all the engineers like SD2, SD3 engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's mostly a staff engineer role is, plus the road mapping part. Okay, what
Mm-hmm.
is probably going to come in the line in 6 months? Six
Mm-hmm.
months. For example, I was doing migration from XML to Compose
Mm-hmm.
in Victoria Secret. Here I'm new, so I have not done a lot of stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
I can't say anything because there's a lot of stuff need to be done. But how to slowly migrate without breaking, because Victoria Secret has, I think, so many users. I think it has 1 million reviews on Play Store, and it has
Oh.
4.7 rating. So many users. So you can't just introduce Compose, okay,
Mm-hmm.
gradually. migrate it. So how to build a plan for migration strategy from XML to Compose. So
Mm-hmm.
those are which I which usually a staff engineer does.
Mm-hmm.
And they've thought about those problems which has not yet come and might not come, maybe come. Like
Mm-hmm.
uh, something related to really niche about maybe using, I don't know, maybe using some kind of C++ library which is underlying creating some kind of, maybe have I was working with cookie manager in Android, and I noticed one problem that cookies were not syncing with the web because there was a lot of web part in our app,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not syncing. The reason was that when I started doing that, cookie were in Android, cookie is built on Java, and
Mm-hmm.
what was happening, the Java threading mechanism is uh, is little, I will say, you don't have much very granular control over it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was happening that if a user is really fast and they move around in the app and
Mm-hmm.
it could not properly sync, it will say that you're not logged in
Mm-hmm.
because it is taking a small time to sync with the web.
Mm-hmm.
When I went under it, it was built using C++.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, if you can play around that part as well, that okay, what if we can have this kind of component built by ourselves, or probably in the future if we have much user, how we can solve this kind of problem. So staff engineer is something like that, but it
Mm-hmm.
varies role to role to every.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The idea is that what I think is as you get more senior and you have a lot of experience behind you, you have explored a lot of things. You have seen a lot of small components work together. You've explored the in and outs of deprecations to
Yeah.
bringing of new libraries into the same industry, and
Yeah.
that's what helps you build the, I guess, the mindset of building new products and understanding what will happen when you try to scale them or downscale them. So that's what I think. Um,
Not be a platform specific. Think in a
mm,
like more broader perspective that okay,
mhm,
if we're bringing Compose, how does it going to affect the iOS part? Okay,
mhm,
is it going to increase the build time? Is it going to increase the IPA size? If
mhm,
not, how much? Can we do something about it? Does
mhm,
it make sense to them? And how, in a long run, how the KMP will work? So all this kind of stuff.
mhm, mhm. Got it, got it. I want to go a little more into technical stuff here. I want to actually know, like, in your industry, like, in your timeline, however you spend in your industry as an Android developer, like, have you found some kind of like small things that, like, a very small change that made a very meaningful business metric change that skyrocket the Android app, like you made a very small change and it suddenly skyrocketed the whole thing. Maybe optimization, maybe the usage, whatever it is.
Um, uh, I think so. In you mean in open source, or you mean in the in like in the industry a project which I work?
Whatever you like, maybe in open source, maybe in the project that you've worked.
I think in the project, I think which I did was that uh, um, I think there are a lot of things which is interesting. So I think when I was working for a company, they
Mm-hmm.
have mechanism to add like money to their wallet. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the user base was really old, really old. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so they they know how to add wallets, but it is what is difficult to them to okay to connect to bank account, type the
Mm-hmm.
money and enter the recharge your card and add to wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So I said a lot of folks in our times, usually in banking, they use check to
Mm-hmm.
deposit and get money. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what if we can build something that okay, you can capture that check and process it. Okay, retrieve the information and send it to your API services, and that money can be added to your account. And so we built a way scanning technology within the app itself, and you can write a check from your checkbook and capture it and
Mm-hmm.
take a photo of it and just send it, and that money will be automatically added to you. So this gave a lot of, because our app bank user were very like very old, and like
Mm-hmm.
they're not very like I believe, what is the right word is that, what is the right word, probably that
Yeah.
hesitant to use new tech. Well,
I got the idea. Yeah, I got
yeah.
the gist.
So it gave our app so much boost
Mm-hmm.
because now the transaction was skyrocketing
Mm-hmm.
because we're able to do this in a very old-fashioned way, but keeping our same
Mm-hmm.
tech
Mm-hmm.
what we built. So I think this was something which I really like. I think I
Mm-hmm.
treasured, and it was one of the learning for me, that because doing that stuff I failed a lot of time, and this was
Mm-hmm.
also a failure because I think for 15-20 days I was building that stuff and I was not able to build properly.
Mm-hmm.
And my mistake was that I was not communicating to anybody. This is what I learned.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of senior engineers who could have helped me, but I was fresher. This is what I tell like freshers. Okay, don't be hesitant to ask for help. This is
Mm-hmm.
also a great quality to ask
Mm-hmm.
for help.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fail at some point. You're going to get struggle, have stuck at some time. So
Mm-hmm.
I asked, and it took me a lot of time to build that scanner and scan it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was a great learning, I think.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many stuff that I want to know about this scanner because, like, how will you verify that? Like nowadays, you can generate an AI image of a check, and if somehow I can send that check to maybe the API that we are calling, um, like, how would I know?
I
Ki,
think they don't. I think they won't like they won't and they won't let us know that how they verify it. But I think they in the back end, they have
mm-hmm,
all the DB in place. Checks are issued to
mm-hmm,
which person with the ID and everything.
mm-hmm,
And it will, I think they had one small mainframe as well, which
mm-hmm,
was at that time so intelligent to understand that is this request looks suspicious or so for example, if you try to if you somehow got access to their API and
mm-hmm,
try to send random responses,
mm-hmm,
it will it will reply in a very generic manner.
mm-hmm,
So that is what hackers do. What they will get hold of an API and they will try to send garbage data. And the
mm-hmm,
API will start responding. And based on that, they will able to guess that, okay,
mm-hmm,
how the API is built and how we can hack it.
mm-hmm,
It was built in such a way that it will always give you generic information, very
mm-hmm,
generic information,
mm-hmm,
which will not reveal anything how underlying validations are working for that API. So I think that's the same stuff. Either I can't reveal it as well, and I don't think I have full much idea as well how but I think they have an underlying technology which
mm-hmm,
was, and I think mostly it was encrypted. Everything was
mm-hmm,
encrypted.
mm-hmm,
All the information which was going will be converted into digital information and then encrypted, and then it will. The private key was there with the server as well. They will
mm-hmm,
decrypt it, they will process it, and then they will
mm-hmm.
read.
There's so much stuff I want to know about this whole thing because this seems super interesting to think about. Like you can send a photo and you can just transfer the money,
Yeah.
and it's just different. Yeah.
And it was built in time of 2014 and 15
Wow.
when the cameras were not that great. Android
Yeah.
tech was not that great,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and there was a lot of hardware limitation. So I was using the famous Samsung phone. It kept freezing at
mm-hmm,
when I tried to crop it because you have to
mm-hmm,
crop that check in a particular ratio. If
mm-hmm,
you're cropping, you might miss information.
mm-hmm,
So, uh, the cropping part was also complicated because some hardware it will crop more.
mm-hmm,
So you have to build some kind of probability code which will always crop nearby,
mm-hmm,
either not too much based on hardware. So it will not
mm-hmm,
or like reduce the information, or probably not too much that it will improve. It will like increase the size of image so much that it becomes difficult to send it over a
mm-hmm,
local network or which has a low bandwidth of network.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Got it, got it. The reason I actually asked this question was that I wanted to know like how small changes, how can I bring small changes into apps, or how can I bring small changes into software and drive something big, been a big impact for the business. And the idea that I got from your answer was that uh, the answer is simply to understand who the user is.
Yes. Understand your user base
Mm,
from where they are coming from. from what kind of people are there, and but based on that, and always try to read reviews on your app. Like so, based on that, like I was building one app uh, which they needed a one backup because it was an offline app and they don't have any API. So they wanted all. So it was a practicing app for shooting and archery and everything, and they wanted to store all their practice set. So uh, and they are not ready that okay you we need to register an account, sync it server. So because it's a older app, so you have to understand what. So what we did is that we built a local backup service, and we thought, okay, since everybody is Android, they might have Google account as well, probably. Okay, so what if we can say that okay, you can give your access to Google Drive, apps, and you can back up there, much easier. Like instead of building a very fancy solution, always try to understand your user and give them, because that's what the whole goal is. If you build a solution which is very fancy, which is very, very fancy, but it takes a lot of time to a person to understand and go through it. It's not, it should be simple enough. And people don't understand that simplicity is also one kind of intelligence. All the simple formulas, E is equals to MC square, F is equals to F, all simple enough. But there's a great beauty in it. But that's what you have to understand. That okay, yeah, understand your user base, what kind of user base, and based on that, build that. That's a great stuff.
I think there is this study that I read about was there are two solutions to every problem. One is a logical solution and one is a psychological solution. The example there was that usually we have lifts in our corporate buildings. We have like 20 floors, 30 floors lift, and a person who is inside of a lift usually gets bored. Like you have to go 30 floors inside of a lift. It's very weird. So the easier solution would be, the logical solution would be to make lifts faster. Can I make some motors run faster? That's a very hard thing to do. For engineers, it's very hard to, how can I make a lift safer to ride and make the motors fast so that person can, is it okay to make this fast or not? There's so many things. The psychological solution was to install a mirror in the lift, because if a person will be staring in the mirror, he won't know how much time has passed. So
probably good music, a smaller
music,
calming music, because lift is a place where everyone feel very like awkward.
100%. So yeah, there are two solutions to everything. One is a psychological solution, one is logical. Logical is what we think about usually, but most of the good products are built on psychological solutions. So agreed.
I think the people don't understand this, and it's very cliche statement that before building a product, think about the user and then come from there. So think about a problem first and then think how to solve this. Instead of okay, I know Django, I know Spring Boot, let's build this. No, let's think about a problem, what it needs, and then from there, back. Then that product will always work as compared to if you see in the market, there are a lot of product which has very great tech, but they did the user research properly and failed spectacularly, and the product were very average. So there is a game from I forgot his name. That guy's from Vietnam. I forgot his name. Probably he built one small game. Okay, it was similar copy of some of the Nintendo. I'm not accusing, but yeah, that's what they said. And that game was, and after sometimes he like stopped developing that game. That game has 50K USD per day.
Wow.
Jeez. That game was, and that guy was so like rich after that he felt guilty about it and he closed the app. After that, also people started like still playing that game and asking for update. And because he thought, he started fearing that there might be a lawsuit coming, he removed that game from website and Play Store everywhere. And then also people who have local game, they try to get pirate copy to play it because that game is great. He didn't That's what people think. Don't think about money first. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
think about money is a byproduct of
Yeah.
anything. Think about how to solve this problem, how useful it could be.
Mm-hmm.
What the first thing, if you start thinking about money and how you can use it, then it becomes a little problematic. It's
Mm-hmm.
a it's everywhere. Any great literature, anything is created great. If you think, they're all created because people wanted to do that. They liked it, and they didn't do it because they wanted money. And after that, if you see a great painting for Picasso and everybody, and a great literature, all were done because they liked it. They believed and stuff that, okay, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became great. So believe, uh, do what you like, and then build first.
Mm-hmm.
Then think about money first. Yes, money is important, but I think that's not your first goal should be.
Right. Okay. I want to know more about like solving jank and any kind of problems related to jank optimizations that we do in Android. How like you must have encountered a lot of things related to optimizing startup time, optimizing certain UIs, and optimizing for jank. What were some of these biggest problems, and how
I
did you
think
actually?
the common thing is that in like have some kind of lazy. So I think the Jank, which I have solved most of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Boot up time, I didn't work much that much, but Jank is like, don't load too much. Have some kind of lazy loading implemented. So the recycler now compose is the lazy column is there,
Mm-hmm.
which is taking care of itself. But when we're doing recycler view, you have to have a proper view holder pattern. Have some kind of lazy loading, and whenever there is a API response coming, have this diff if implemented that it will always match and give you the data, which is only small part, not all the API. Because
Mm-hmm.
you scroll, you make all API call, it all comes back to you, and then you get this jank because
Mm-hmm.
all the data is not relevant to you. So
Mm-hmm.
have that in place. For boot up time, it's a very standard stuff. Like uh, don't initialize too many SDKs
Mm-hmm.
on a boot up time.
Mm-hmm.
So um, try to, and a third party API, third party SDKs and everything. Try to understand how they work because
Mm-hmm.
before including them into your library.
Mm-hmm.
So these are standard stuff. Um, there is a great library Leak Canary which you can install
Mm-hmm.
and see if like when you're doing a recycler view or any screen movement part, see if there's a memory leak coming and we can
Mm-hmm.
analyze it. Avoid static. Avoid with the Java with the Kotlin we are safe, but in Java you people used to a lot of write static code,
Mm-hmm.
and static code has a problem with that. The static variable life cycle is very complicated to understand.
Mhm,
When
mhm,
is going to die, and that becomes very problematic.
mhm,
I know one of the case when a person was trying to parcelize that static values
mhm,
and pass it around. Like,
mhm,
this is dangerous. Not only you're using a static variable,
mhm,
and it's um, even I didn't know that.
mhm,
If I was in, I could have been also doing that, but
mhm,
then I came to understand that okay, static is using static is
mhm,
very carefully. So
mhm,
I think these are the granular steps which I have done in
mhm,
terms of avoid jank. Uh,
mhm,
uh, mm, Make your XML not very complicated. It should have always simple enough. It does not have a lot of passes. I
mhm,
see very complicated layouts, especially
mhm,
now with constant layout, it become little easier. With
mhm,
relative layouts,
mhm,
make one relative layout. Inside there is another relative layout. And
mhm,
what happens that it has relatively has a two pass. So if
mhm,
there's a, inside there is a relative layout, then it becomes more complicated and
mhm,
it gives you a chance. So
mhm,
try to make your view as simple as possible. Have a
mhm,
flat hierarchy,
mhm,
kind of stuff.
mhm. Got
Yeah.
it, got it. So like we try to understand like when jank is all usually I think so most of the thing comes from some kind of list, um
Yeah.
some kind of heavy animation that is going on.
Yeah.
Usually that's where the most of the pitfalls are. I want to know more about your thinking around Compose and XML, because you have worked with both. You have migrated a lot of XML to Compose.
Yeah.
What's your thinking behind XML versus Compose?
I think initially Compose had some glitches in terms
Mm,
of performance, but
mm,
I think right now it has come at a par of XML and
mm,
it is going to improve.
mm,
There's still some small improvement needed, but I think Compose is the future.
mm,
And I find now much easier to write code in Compose compared to XML
mm. Agreed.
because the code manipulation in Compose is much way easier as compared to XML. So, for example, you have to do some custom stuff like
Mm,
in XML days. So
mm,
you have to write a lot of Java code and or
mm,
Kotlin code to get the layout context, get layout ID, not
mm,
only ID. Um, for example, you want to do some modification on a custom layout. So
mm,
you have to write all this manual code using Java, which XML could not do because
mm,
you want it dynamic, all this
mm,
code dynamic.
mm,
So that was very complicated and was not because
mm,
XML at that time, XML is like very was only considered for writing UI, and Java and Kotlin was only considered for writing business logic.
yeah. Mm,
But Compose, like you can play around with code with any way, and it's very declarative. So I think
mm,
I find it much more intuitive as compared to XML.
mm,
And I think with 1. Yesterday there was a I think 1.9 release. I think
mm,
it is much more stable. I was
mm,
speaking to one of the composer engineer at Google. He
mm,
was saying uh, like there are a lot of performance issues which was there in 1.0, but I think
mm,
we are slowly migrating, like
mm,
slowly all those. So I think with
mm,
2.0, I think it is now
mm,
fully production ready, and I
mm,
think everybody who's in XML they should start slowly like
mm,
migrating compose or should do that.
mm, mm, mm. Got it. I actually was reading a little bit around, like I'm not very good, like right now I very lack a lot of understanding of Android because I lack a lot of experience. So
I
uh,
still lack a lot of understanding of Android. It's perfectly fine.
So I was learning about Android rendering pipeline in XML. I was watching this DroidCon. I don't remember the exact video, but I was trying to understand their rendering pipeline. How basically the view and graphics are rendered, and how basically the view is getting to the graphics card, and how is it getting rendered on the screen. Um, do you have when I try to explore these internals, they seem to be very complicated because it's so for a new engineer who has just passed out from college, maybe 1 year or 2 year experience, and want to explore this kind of internals. I want to know how can I start, because I want to know about the principles to like understand the basics of like how things are rendered, how things are done. Uh, like as an engineer who is curious about how things are being made in the app behind the scenes, I want to know more. How can I start from the first principles? That's what I'm asking.
So I think the first thing is that you have to understand the basics of how graphics usually works, how the
Mm,
canvas is designed, how the you have to understand all of. So one thing I've noticed, if you want to understand a lot of the UI part, especially the rendering part, you have
mm,
to understand the whole geometry part,
mm,
X and Y part,
mm,
how those how those XY works, and uh, there are certain engineers which I know I've in Twitter which they do this stuff on rendering part. So probably you can follow this and read their blogs that
mm,
how. But a starting point is to understand your basics properly that how rendering works in a GPU part.
mm,
So it is because underline it's the same thing for all either it's a desktop or web or anybody if an
mm,
underlying technology is kind of the same that how it will take the GPU part and it will try to render it. So
mm,
you have to understand that part. I don't have I I don't have like any something on top of mind to just tell you that okay this is a place we can go, but
mm,
probably you can read some of the OpenCV documentation how
mm,
the rendering how the rendering works, or probably you have to open up these libraries of Android still like
mm,
animation and see
mm,
how their code works.
mm,
Probably that's the only way you to understand how underline everything, because when I was trying to understand coroutine, uh,
Mm,
uh, I was confused that how the state is being managed. So
mm,
when when I opened the code in compile, and then I came to know that this continuation
mm,
object, which is being generated every time, and this
mm,
continuation object will be like managing and stay doing all the state management.
mm.
And then I came to know that okay, compose does the same thing.
Okay.
It is based on the same architecture.
Mm,
So when you write a compose code, it passes under the compiler. We get a composer object
okay.
which manages all the states and everything.
Mm, mm, mm,
Apart from there's a lot of things like slot machines
mm,
and compose tree, but this is the basic architecture which they have. I think they have taken from Kotlin
mm,
code, where they will pass the compiler will generate a composer or
mm,
code formation object which will manage the state everything.
mm,
Similarly, read a lot of documentation
mm,
from try to understand as much as possible. And now UIs like at my time, what used to happen that I used to get very intimidated by reading that code. Okay, I
mm,
can't understand because open edit text
mm,
code for
mm,
Android from Android SDK. It's
mm,
huge.
mm. Agreed, agreed.
But now we have AI. So what
Mm,
you can do is that probably you can open that code and see, just paste it to ChatGPT something
mm,
and break it apart and try to
mm,
understand. Because the only way to understand, a good way to understand a technology is to go open their SDK and
mm,
understand their space, how they
mm,
do. If you want to understand retrofit properly, just open the retrofit code,
mm,
go to the GitHub and try to understand how they're designing interface, how they're
mm,
making HTTP how they're making SSL connection.
mm.
That's the
Agreed.
only. The best idea is that if you pick one API, any graphics API,
Mm,
anything, just open it SDK, get its code from open source. If you try to understand it, if you don't, uh, AI is your help. Just paste
mm,
it, break it apart, and then try to build stuff based
mm,
on that.
mm,
Now, next step is to, okay, take this API. Let me build myself because one thing I did is that in Victoria's Secret, we design our own design system.
mm.
So what we
Okay.
did is that our design system is very different. So
Mm,
we have 3 4 apps. We want our design system to be used across all this.
mm,
What we did is that instead of building custom edit text or spinners everything, we have
mm,
taken native layout as a base layout
mm,
and extend it
mm,
and then customize this according to our need. So
mm,
doing that, I came to know how the layouts are being done,
mm,
how attributes, how theming works,
mm,
how we and how this on measure works,
mm,
how do you attach this layout when you
mm,
when you so so similar thing you have to do. Take
mm,
an API on a GPU,
mm,
understand it, and try to do with your own and see
mm,
how does. If you do able to do that, then I think it's 60 to 80% job is done.
mm. Agreed. A lot of this stuff like internal seems very hectic, but when you actually try to understand it, it broadens your perspective so much around how things should be done. Because I also read about coroutines internals. Like I remember continuation dot resume, then that just it works like recursion and it goes and pops up from every suspended function.
Yeah.
I and the thing is that more you learn about internals, the more better you become as a developer.
Not
And
only become, I feel I have more confident on speaking and talking about stuff which
mm,
I know how internally they works.
mm, mm,
This is my thing, maybe not other thing, but if I don't know really good about any stuff, like
mm,
internally how it works, I'll
mm,
be very hesitant to talk about because there is something will be always popping in my mind. Okay, what if
mm,
someone asks this?
mm,
And I like, I don't want to want to give any wrong information. I
mm,
try to
mm,
that okay.
mm,
And this is also one of the stakes stuff. If
mm,
you don't know stuff, just tell that okay, I don't know.
mm,
Maybe let's learn about it. But
mm,
this is also it's perfectly okay to tell that okay, hey, I don't know about stuff.
mhm,
The same thing is like GPU part, the graphics part, I did small stuff, but I didn't read like internal works. But the basic advice is similar.
mm,
Open the SDK, write that, read the code. If you don't understand, that's what I did for all the custom which I made. How I
mm,
understand how edit text works. I understand how a spinner works, and based on that, I try to make our own design.
mhm. Got it. And this was like the all the technical stuff that I wanted to ask. I want to go into more a little bit around your interview process in general. How do you actually prepare? How do you actually start for your interview process whenever you're going into that? How's your timetable looking like when you're going into interviews?
So for me, uh, for me, uh, uh, so it usually, since little experience I have, so the first thing which I advise everyone to have a good resume building. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of resumes outside which are like 3-4 pages. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and experience is probably through 2 to 5 years. Nothing wrong with that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I can still show you my resume. I
Mm-hmm.
have 10 plus experience, but it's still one page,
Mm-hmm.
and it covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
It covers everything. So the first thing is like, and a job search is like have a good resume. How
Mm-hmm.
uh, and a very a resume which is like very easy to read and which is easy to comprehend that, okay, this person knows stuff and I need that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. And I was being reached out to recruiters, and I, I think I started giving into before 6 months back, 6 months back itself. So the general stuff is that first start with data structure and algorithm round.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, there's a blind 75 list. The basic is that you can
Mm-hmm.
start. Uh, uh, Unfortunately, if you into in some, especially in India, especially, there's a lot of questions being asked which they want a fixed answer.
Mm-hmm.
They have read the solution on lead code and
Mm-hmm.
they want the same answer. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and what I was doing, that I was trying to come up with my own solution. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of places, like I was being rejected, or it was taking time, and they didn't understand. It was optimized,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of places they want that
Mm-hmm.
fix code. Okay, this is how we using 2 pointer. This is how we'll solve this.
Mm-hmm.
Now 2 pointer also you can solve it. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of grinding you have to do. I think I will recommend anybody has something, or probably you can combine something. Have a lead code premium, one thing,
Mm-hmm.
because it helps a lot. So lead code, uh, you have to. So what I do is that I design my time according to my schedule. So I am a morning person. So,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what I'd say. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to do something in morning, write it down in the evening itself
Mm-hmm.
on a notebook. This is because in the morning, if you wake and you start making plan, you're not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
No. Because either you start doing something else. So write something. So, and there is a great book called Eat That Frog.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
don't like
Okay.
this stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
think you do it in your best optimal time. So
Mm-hmm.
some people are night people, some person are morning person. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't like DS preparation of DS and algo. So I used to do it in the morning itself. I will
Mm-hmm.
wake up in the morning. I have I have made up mind that, okay, in a two, so it goes also in a different cycle. So finally I came up that, okay, I'm going to solve in
Mm-hmm.
2 hours, I'm going to solve 3 to 4 problems if
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum 1 to 2 is basic. If I
Mm-hmm.
can do more, then it's fine. If you
Mm-hmm.
get it less, if it is hard, then one, probably 1 or 2, and
Mm-hmm.
have this routine regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And always come back to that questions after 1 week, because it is very easy to forget.
Mm-hmm.
And spend some time on a problem, 5 to 10 minutes. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't understand, if you don't not come with a solution,
Mm-hmm.
try to partially see how it is working and then try to code it.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly okay that you don't understand a solution, because I tell you, uh, the when I started preparing for DS and Elgo, the
Mm-hmm.
two was very hard, to be honest. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to do some problem, because
Mm-hmm.
now I can like it is on my fingertips, all
Mm-hmm.
because practice, practice. Because unfortunately, the interview formats are like that. They are
Mm-hmm.
made on 45 minutes, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to. Expectation is, I gave interview for Google, Facebook, all those companies. The
Mm-hmm.
ex, they don't say it openly, but the expectation is in 20 minutes you should be done.
Mm-hmm.
You should be done. You should
Mm-hmm.
do optimize working code in 20 minutes
Okay. Oh.
and communicate, because they want to understand your thought process. How did you
Mm-hmm.
came with solution? So
Mm-hmm.
A lot of engineers I see that they know the solution, but they start writing code without saying anything.
Mhm.
They want to engage you.
Mhm.
So this is what happens in all great companies. They want to engage you. So, for
Mhm.
example, some problem. So okay, so if someone asks, okay, you want to some problem, you want some kind of repetition. Oh, I think he hash map could be it. So
Mhm.
hash map could be a great data structure to solve kind of thing, that are
Mhm.
things. So okay, so they understand. Okay, this how this person thinks
Mhm.
because they want to understand.
Mhm.
Any engineers, especially interview, don't think that it's an exam. It's a
Mhm.
collaborative thing.
Mhm.
Uh, they also want to hire you
Mhm.
in a good way, and you also want to get hired. So
Mhm.
speak your mind,
Mhm.
like, and practice, and like you should be able to in 5 to 10 minutes you should be able to come up with solution,
Mhm.
and that comes only when you have practice a lot.
Mhm.
If you practice a lot, then only you will do come up solution 20, because maybe you are very smart, very intelligent, but
Mhm.
don't haven't seen a problem. Maybe there are people like that, but
Mhm.
for me, it's not that. If I haven't seen the solution.
Mhm.
Uh, it is very hard for me to come up with a solution in 20 minutes. No,
Mhm. Mhm.
it will take 1 or 2 hours.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have got frustrated because I'm trying to solve a problem for a whole day.
Mhm.
I'm uh,
Mhm.
it gave me so much anxiety that I
Mhm.
know stuff. But now I know those stuff because I practice a lot. So I think you
Mhm.
have DS algo, and it based on experience. So if you're a junior engineer, I don't think there are a lot of system design will be asked for me. The
Mhm.
basic expectation will be DS algo. If you're an Android engineer, MVMEM,
Mhm.
Kotlin, coroutines,
Mhm.
some how coroutine works,
Mhm.
maybe some part of testing, but not that too much. Some part of testing. They
Mhm.
will ask you, but whatever question will be asked, they will ask what seal classes, how
Mhm.
seal classes work,
Mhm.
standard stuff. There is a great book from a guy called uh, 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 Jay Wong. He's on Twitter. He's Manifest Android Interview. That's a
Mhm.
great book. I will recommend anybody.
Mhm.
Goes into a lot of details, and
Mhm.
it goes from beginning to experience level.
Mhm.
You can read that book. It has a lot of great stuff for Android preparation. So I
Mhm.
think these are the basics. So my strategy is simple. I try to like myself discipline as much as possible, that I have dedicated a fixed time,
Mhm.
that morning 4 to 6 or like any time. Usually now I have a kid. I'm not able to wake up that early, but I used to wake up at around 5 or 6.
Mhm.
Sometimes 4 as well, and
Mhm.
just 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 be in that state that okay, just
Mhm.
have your task ready, wake up and start,
Mhm.
because what this is what I've noticed about me. If my mornings are great, one
Mhm.
or I did something meaningful, now
Mhm.
my days goes like anything.
Mhm.
It just recharges me and for whole day.
Mhm.
Yeah, but don't try to do it more than 3 to 4 hours DSNL go part, because it
Mhm.
will exhaust you. Then it will not you will not able to
Mhm.
do your day job, what you're
Mhm.
doing. I
Mhm.
tried to do that, and I was so exhausted that
Mhm.
after doing 3 4 hours of DS and Algo,
Mhm.
I I didn't had a mood to write a single code for whole because I was so exhausted. So don't do that, because that it will become a problem for you if you are working as well.
Mhm.
And be patient. Be patient. A lot
Mhm.
of interviews, a lot of luck as well. Okay,
Mhm.
I prepared a lot of questions, but in eBay I was asked those questions which I know well.
Mhm.
It could have been reversed as well.
Mhm.
Could have been reversed. I think I have given a lot of interviews where I hate metrics.
Mhm.
Sorry, I hate like if uh, the, it becomes very problematic for me. Like if
Mhm.
someone has given me a matrix problem and solve
Mhm.
it, like rotate it, and
Mhm.
I don't know
Mhm.
something. Even I have prepared a lot, but then also,
Mhm.
and but unfortunately, some of the interviews, I think in Facebook,
Mhm.
uh, two times, and I was 2 times I was asked
Mhm.
metrics.
Mhm.
I was like, man, like, yeah, like, is this the only question you want, or do you need? Do they
Mhm.
know about me that okay, let's ask this question?
Mhm.
But some places, uh, so it's a luck, but try to practice as much as possible. And this is and be patient, because there are companies who are waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place. If you prepare your proper interview, and you're lucky, you'll get in. But
Mm-hmm.
don't measure yourself because you are not able to crack an interview, because
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be companies we are going to crack. I think when I gave interview, I think they were waiting for me just like that. I think
Mm-hmm.
they were accommodating that. I think it was raining in Bangalore, and I said I am not going to come. They said it's okay, you can come on 12 o'clock. It's okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Come. So this is
Okay.
also one
Yeah.
thing that how people value. So I was lucky
Mm-hmm.
enough.
Mm-hmm. Got it, got it. So these are all the questions in and around technical industry overall. Now I actually want to know about a little more about your personal finances in general, and I want to know, like, since industry has a lot of money, I want to know, like, how do you manage your money? How do you divide it? Do you invest a lot? Do you like spend? Do you have a certain section for your guilt-free spending? Do you have certain sections that you've divided that goes into your household spending? How do you divide it overall?
And so I don't have, like, usually people say that this 80-20 formula is there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think usually formula is that uh, have some kind of budgeting system, as a
Mm-hmm.
budgeting system. And like, apart from
Mm-hmm.
food which I don't like to budget a lot. If
Mm,
people, if if you want to eat healthy food, that's okay. It's
mm,
okay, perfectly fine. So if you spend a little more as well,
mm,
it's perfectly fine. But I think a lot of expenses go into eating out and
mm,
spending. So I always, when I spend the money, I always think, does it? So do I really need that? Do I
mm,
really need that bigger headphone? Do I really need that bigger screen, or do I really
mm,
need this bigger fridge or something?
mm,
However, you have to communicate with your spouse as well about it, because
mm,
they might feel that way. So
mm,
this is how I measure my all expenses. That
mm,
is it something really urgent? For example, keyboard, laptop, and desk and chair stuff. I don't negotiate,
mm,
because this is something you're going to work whole day. Okay,
mm,
and this should be good enough that, okay, it should be provide a proper comfort, and it
mm,
should, like, provide a proper back
mm,
support. You
mm,
get hurt yourself. But in
mm,
terms of finances, normal finances, have you diversified, like
mm,
some part of the stock. uh,
mm,
and also it depends on you. So I consider myself a very passive person. I don't
mm,
like to regularly engage. So divide those options into some kind of this nifty 50 funds,
mm,
and some parts of, just figure out top three mutual funds and
mm,
have some money. So idea is that whenever your salary increases or something, that
mm,
extra money, try to instead of using it, try to invest it and move around somewhere.
mm,
That's
mm,
that's the whole idea, because it will keep increasing. And
mm,
if you money is something like you keep expending it, and it will keep expanding. So
mm,
you're not able to save enough. So have those things in place. Try to buy those stuff. The formula is that if you don't have the money, don't go into AMI.
mm,
So so if you're buying a 1.5 lakhs of iPhone on an
mm,
EMI,
mm,
if you don't have that money, that's not a very financial decision to, like, okay,
mm,
since you have 10K in your account and you're buying a 1.5K iPhone,
mm,
that's, if even a no cost EMI is also does not look
mm,
great. If you have money and then you're buying a no cost EMI, that's a
mm,
good thing. But
mm,
don't get into this EMI part, because EMI and personal loan stuff, because
mm,
it is some kind of spiral where if you are stuck,
mm,
you are going more and deep into it.
mm.
Yeah.
Agree. The like there's a saying that not look at spending in a way that, like, you should not go beyond 10% of whatever your total income is into whatever you want to spend, maybe buy a car, maybe buy a bike. This is like a rate that I think works for everyone. And another thing is that most of the time when you let's say you want to buy something, you really want that, and if you just let it stay for maybe in your cart for a day or two, after a day or two you realize you don't actually want it, you just wanted it at that moment.
My formula is 3 days.
3 days.
If
Okay.
I like stuff and leave it for 3 days.
Mm.
After 3 days, still I want it. That means I really want it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If
So,
if one day that feeling is gone, then there is a lot of marketing is being done by Amazon or Flipkart or anybody to get you to buy that stuff.
mm,
Yeah,
agree, 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 agree.
agree. So yeah, but I one thing I have this idea was that have this balance of expense and enjoying life as well. Okay,
Mm,
a lot of people when they are thought they think that saving money they will
mm,
sacrifice their own like well-being in terms of what they want to do. Maybe what
mm,
they want to travel, they want to eat some good food, they want to try some restaurant.
mm,
So have that balance as well.
mm,
In I think in our previous generation did that.
mm,
So, but I don't really agree with that idea that what they
mm,
did is that they saved a lot of money, but when the time came for something to do to lavish or show off to other relatives, they
mm,
expend a lot of money.
mm,
That's also not a very good strategy. And now
mm,
they are old, they can't travel, they can't. Now they have all the money, but
mm,
they can't travel. They have health issues. So I
mm,
think have this balance. Go places, visit places, eat good food. So
mm,
do two things I don't compromise a lot. If I get an opportunity to travel,
mm,
then maybe it is a little over the budget. I go.
mm,
The reason is that traveling is something which is very has a very like weird coincidence thing that if you plan, I don't know you will able to go or something or not, but something
mm,
random comes up. Especially, I think I have traveled more with my friends
mm,
when we made a plan in the night and on an instant,
mm,
instead of making plan that we will go after 1 month.
mm,
And at that time, I didn't have much money, but
mm,
I treasure those memories now. I
mm,
like I feel so grateful that okay, I've been those places
mm,
because I might have saved a lot of money at that time,
mm,
but I could not have made those great friends and
mm,
meet those
mm,
places and go to places. So have this as well as well. Have, I'm not saying that you should have an empty belly and like you don't have any money, but don't save that much that you start to sacrifice your
mm,
personal inspiration. Like, uh, especially if you like some courses, if
mm,
you it's perfectly fine. If it is a little expensive. I think I have did a lot of courses on
mm,
something which were expensive. I think the one great turn in my life came when Udacity came to India, and
mm,
they were offering Android Nano degree.
mm,
And Nano degree, I was Android engineer, and it was very expensive course. I think it was 1.5 k 55 at that
mm,
time. They said
mm,
if you finish it, you will return it 50%.
mm,
But I got into that course. I finished it. I got
mm,
money back. But I think the friends and the
mm,
contribution me I made during
mm,
that time in
mm,
open rooms and meeting other people from other
mm,
communities, I think that made me a very good engineer.
mm,
I could have been a very average engineer before
mm,
that. So
mm,
it was expensive at that time, but I think so. Investing in learning. If it is a
mm,
little expensive, that's perfectly fine.
mm,
Yeah. But I think this is what I have. My take is that
mm,
have this formula. Yeah, I have this emergency fund. I did
mm,
not have, but uh, whatever your salary is, that
mm,
according to that, I think minimum 1 year of something saving you should have. If
mm,
and if you have something else happen, then probably you can like if you especially if you're a family member, you should have 1 year of runway and
mm,
have some kind of second source of income as well.
mm,
Yeah, second source of income is because this is what I said to other people that
mm,
as an engineer, make yourself a brand, a
mm,
product.
mm,
Because after some times, probably 40, 45 of something, even
mm,
you're a great engineer,
mm,
you become a little liability to any company because you are
mm,
expensive now.
mm,
But if you have built your own brand, you can do a lot of stuff, coding
mm,
and stuff. So
mm,
other companies doesn't care if you do their work.
mm,
You're not in their payroll, but you can do their work.
mm,
I think so. Build those kind of second source of income because we
mm,
don't know the future.
mm.
Yeah,
Agreed, agreed. Market is like very volatile. We never know the future of engineers in general.
and it is going to. it is a cycle. It is good. It happened in 2002. It
mm,
happened in 2008.
mm,
It happened in 2022, 23.
mm,
It's
mm,
still, maybe it's stable. Again, after
mm,
10, 15, again it will come back. So
mm.
this is how economy works.
Agreed, agreed, agreed.
You also have to protect yourself.
Agreed, agreed. Just the overall idea is just say yes to adventures. Just say
Yes.
yes to a lot of learning and be curious around things. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you'll arrive at amazing
If you
peaks.
if my idea is that if you can avoid buying those stuff which you want to show off, or
Hmm,
probably have this check in your mind. Do you really want to buy this car, or do you really want to buy this uh, bike because you really want it, or maybe
hmm,
you want to, because this is goes into psychology as well. When you
hmm,
read, I was reading this book of Alan D. Bottom,
hmm,
uh, how to how to fix your childhood.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
He talks about that in your childhood, if you have not gotten a lot of attention
hmm,
from spouses or from parents,
hmm,
your psychology is built around to get attention.
hmm,
So I feel very sad for those people who want to buy the most expensive car, who want to buy most expensive villa.
hmm, hmm,
A lot of this coming from that they want the world to know that, hey, I'm here.
hmm,
I did stuff. Give me that approval.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
Have that check in it. Do you want to do this because you want to get some approval from some person?
hmm, hmm, hmm.
Because I
Agreed,
did this. Or do
agreed.
you really want to do that?
Hmm, hmm,
Do you really want to do that? That's perfectly fine.
hmm,
If you really want that Ducati bike,
hmm,
because you want it, that's fine. But it is very hard to know. You
hmm,
want something. So that's why I try to very conservative of buying, like I physical stuff like
hmm,
cars and everything. Do I
hmm,
really? Home is something is fine, but
hmm,
adventure, yes. Food,
hmm,
absolutely yes.
hmm,
Because this is what you came from. Health, yes.
hmm, hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, yeah. These are all the questions that I wanted to ask. Again, yeah, thank you for actually joining in. Thank you for coming and yeah, giving your advice. It was fun talking to you. It's been a while here. I've taken a lot of time of you, and
It
yeah, I
was very
enjoyed.
great talking to you. Anyway, I was very anxious when coming here because
Mm,
I usually don't give any interviews or any podcast. So
mm,
I, I was like, okay, what I'm going to talk about. But I think
mm.
you are a very good listener. I think, and I think it was very engaging while I talk. I hope I gave you the same experience. I didn't
Yes,
bore.
yes, of course. I enjoyed a lot. I always wanted to ask, like, I wanted to go inside of a mind of a technical engineer, and I want to understand how people think. Usually, I want to understand how good engineers think, and that's what I try to bring with this podcast. And yeah, I'm trying my best. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. Hopefully, you guys really enjoyed this session, and if you did, you know what to do. Like and subscribe, and of course, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.